It's a bit of a... I kind of don't like it, actually. That is not correct.
What do you mean?
It's not correct. Oh my goodness.
What?
Broke that off.
You okay?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It is a super exciting day. It is a 4-day long weekend. It's my RDO, Monday's off as well. And the weather has been absolutely fantastic this last nearly 2 weeks. We've had even right up to nearly 30 degrees last week. It has been absolutely fantastic, which means the Merc doesn't have to be here anymore. Watch this. Yep, it's moved, and guess where to? I am so excited. Finally, get to have this inside the workshop. We'll go through it in a second. Alrighty then, in the workshop, a stack of parts have arrived, I am super glad to say, including the grill. Regards the grill. I ended up buying two. The one I ordered on AliExpress is still on its way. The tracking says it's not going to be here till the middle of October, and I just thought I can't wait that long. I went on to Temu. It had guaranteed 5 to 9 days shipping. I thought I'll try it out. I got exactly the same grill for a little bit more, and it arrived. It arrived in like just under 9 days, I think. But the fact is, it's here. So I have pretty much just about everything I need. I just have to go to a Wreckers and get the front half of the wheel arch lining for the driver's side. That's pretty much all I've got. I've got an oil filter on the way and a couple of other tiny parts just to clean it up. But otherwise, I've got everything I need. Again, I've been putting money aside. I've been selling stuff on Bookface Marketplace. I've got some wheel dollies, so I can put it under this, move it into a spot that's going to be far better to put it in, which is, I was thinking, more of a diagonal angle, just to give it more room. You're probably wondering what happened to the HT Ute. It is in another location, stored for now, and I've only got a couple of months to basically get this done because the Ute will need to come back. So, the plan now is to use a brand new toy that I bought, being a pneumatic jack, lift this up, get the wheel dollies underneath, get it in place, get it up on stands, and then go from there. Let's do that. It is such a joy to have the C200 inside the workshop. I've put it up on stands. I was gonna do the brakes first, as in the rotors and the pads. And then I thought, no, I will wait until probably Monday, because I can then change them over. The wheels obviously can come off, and I'm still deciding whether one or two of them have the tiniest amount of curb rash on them. And I'm thinking I can get them powder coated, because I know a guy. If you've seen the other videos, especially on the ride-on, the quad, you'll know that A-Steel powder coaters are my powder coating choice for anyone in Perth to do powder coating. So go check them out. Go see Jimmy and tell him that Busy Troy sent you. Right, let me run through what has arrived quickly, and I'll give you the overall theme on what changes are going to be made. So, there is a new air filter for the engine. There is a new cabin filter. Shown you previously that we've got a new center console cover with the new slider that goes in here. That's not sure. I have a complete brand new button set for the steering wheel, because two of the buttons are currently silver and they need to be changed, because the whole steering wheel, bottom and top, are going to be changed to a carbon fiber. Well, I thought they were fully carbon fiber, but of course they're not. But they're a full carbon fiber look, so that will change that up. That is the only bit of carbon fiber or carbon fiber look that's going to end up in the car, other than there's a small surround for where the ignition is. All the chrome has completely just scratched off, so I've got a carbon fiber ring to go around that, just to match it and just to neaten it up. There's a new hollow screw that is for the right hand indicator for the headlight adjustment. As you've seen, the headlights are here. I've got new bonnet emblems. One is fully gloss black. One is the silver and black. Do you see where I'm going with the theme? Also, got a new air intake pipe, because as I was taking the other one out, it came apart. Here's the big reveal. This is the new emblem for the grille, gloss black. The grille is gloss black, but let's leave that to see which one I chose until it's time to put it in. There are some new sets of plastic nuts, because there's a few missing that underneath for wheel arches and so forth. There's a few of the different plug-in types for the side skirts. The rear of the car is going to have a gloss black star emblem with the C200 changed to gloss black. Told you I had a new bumper bracket on order. It's arrived. I'm now going to have to order another one, because as you can see, it broke off, and so I'm going to have to get another one. So I'll probably not use this one, but the one that came with the headlight bracket, which I said was a different one in last video on the C200, I might get the same one as that, because the little spring clips that I have on the side here aren't going to break off at all. I'll show you in a second. Okay, this is the bumper bracket that I'm talking about. It doesn't have the spring clips on the sides, so once the bumper slides in, this looks far better than the first version that Mercedes Benz come up with. So I think I'll actually order another one of these, and that will satisfy me a lot more. Plus the bumper that is going on here had this type of bracket, because this, like I said before, the bonnet, headlight bracket, the fender and the bumper are all off the same car from the wreckers. So it makes sense that if the bumper had these in the first place, then I'll get another one of these, and it's just far sturdier. Plus it actually has 2 adjustment screws, whereas the other side, it has the allocation for 2, but the actual adjustment only has 1 screw on the other one. So I'll get another one of these. Alrighty, first thing we're going to do is change out the console cover. I got a new one because the edging all started to get all scratched and looks scruffy. Now, you know, a brand new one's just going to neaten it right up. And as we saw before, the middle slider didn't work because all the fins had come off, all the runners were not there, so it had nothing to guide it. So let's do that, and that is done by taking out this rubber section here, which needs a clean on the inside as well. There's 1 torque screw in here, so let's get that out. This should just clip off, and we should be a quick changeover. And while we're going to do it, I'm going to clean out the cup holder here, because it is still pretty dirty on there. And I know there are some broken fin parts in the back here, so we're going to get them out as well.
That just came straight out.
This comes out as well. Okay, right, what we're going to do is, just while these parts are drying, we're going to just see if, or how this actual cover here actually works. It probably literally just sits on top, I guess. No, there is an actual groove for it to sit in, which means this can probably go in. It's a matter of how does that get in there. Yes, that needs to be at the front. So, oh yes, there's the 2 springs right there. And that literally goes in like that. Ah.
How does it just go down?
Because it just follows the rack. It just follows the groove.
That is perfect.
And that goes there like that.
Perfect.
Alright, let's see, these bits are dry and we can put it all back together. Okie dokie is right. It's dry. Let's put this stuff in. That literally just goes in. That has come up like brand new. Here is the cup holder. It's just got some grooves that are offset.
Famous.
There's a groove for them to slide down on, and that then clipped in like that. Done. That is already in place, and here is the brand new cover, which should clip straight in. And
That looks like brand new, because it is.
well, exactly, it is. Let's just make sure everything lines up. Oh, push that back.
Is it in? Already?
It's not clipped in. Is that clipped in there? Yes, it is. Look at that. That's clipped in.
Brand new.
Let's put
And
the
that just
screw
goes like that.
in.
And look at that, Dad. Matches straight in.
Let's put this screw in.
Yep.
That's it. Don't over tighten it.
I just went straight in. Done.
That is so much better. Just the little things that just clean it up. Good stuff. Okay, I've looked up how to take the airbag off of this car. I've done this side. I'm going to quickly show you how to do the other side. It's a bit of a... I kind of don't like it, actually. Other cars just have simple 10mm bolts either side and a small hole that you can have access to. Mercedes Benz, there's a small dimple on the back. You probably can't see it, but it's right there on the back. And basically, you put like a 5mm or a 6mm, something basically straight into there, and it basically breaks that kind of tiny bit of the cover that's never been broken before, which is kind of is not great. And you're actually trying to find, there's a little gap that you'll find, and it basically, did you see that? It just popped out. I've already disconnected the battery, so this is the airbag now off. And we need to disconnect it. There is two connections. As you can see, there's the blue and the yellow. I just need to get the small screwdriver. It's easy to disconnect that from the clock spring. Yep, easier. So basically when you put something in through the side here, you can just see the screwdriver there. That one's sticking there through the hole. It then pushes through this guide and it pushes on this spring, as you're about to see. You can see that spring moving, and that's what does either side, and that's what pushes either side and clips into the side there of the airbag. So now we're going to get the cover off, change the buttons out, change the covers, and that should be that one done. Got the correct size Torx head. There's the ones at the bottom, there's a screw on the back of the steering wheel, and for the top half there's one screw either side and side, and these clip together. We'll take the 4 screws out and go from there. There we go. That's it out. These are the 2 parts that we're changing over. There are 3 Torx head screws in either side for the steering wheel control. We're going to take that out. We're going to go over to the workbench and do that now. These are actually like semi-plastic, kind of melted together. So first thing I'm going to do is get the other 2 pieces here out.
Oh yay! That's it.
There's the bottom half. Here is the top half.
And they're both the same color.
should, theory, just
Clip on or something?
put together. And hope. Certainly hope that's how it works.
Otherwise.
Oh yep, there's a little guide. This side. Bingo. Beautiful. Look at that. Joined. Now, let's get the buttons changed over. So the top buttons are silver. They're going to be changed. That was part of the reason getting new ones. And the black is starting to come off the buttons as well. So hence a brand new button set. We'll go in. So quick video interjection. When I was recording all of the button changeover, unbeknown to me, the SD card was full. So I'd go and hit record on the camera, I'd see that it was saying recording, and by the time I walked around a second later, it had shut off. So all the footage that I had gotten of me going through the heartache of trying to change the buttons hasn't been captured. And the end result at the moment is that I didn't get to change them. The insides of the actual buttons where they clip onto the actual modules themselves are different. There's two different types. And of course, until you take yours apart, you don't actually know what you've got. I have since found that out, and I have since ordered the correct ones. So they're on their way, but in the meantime, this is what it looks like when it's all back together. Okay, back in the workshop. I got the steering wheel cover on. We got the new cover onto the console. Today, going to change all the brake rotors and the brake pads. We're going to see if we can get the fender and the bumper and the grille and everything on, headlights in, and see if I can actually get that far in one day. So, without delaying any further, let's dive into it. Okay. Got the wheel off, got the new pads out of the box. There are 4 of these bolts with the brake pads. So I've just got to find out what exactly they're for. I can see 2, there's only 2 that hold the actual caliper, the brake caliper itself to the assembly. I'm not sure what the other 2 are for, but we're about to find out. I'm hoping I can just undo the bottom one, swivel it up, replace the pads. There is a brake pad sensor. These are made so that the sensors can be put into them. Again, I've never done Mercedes Benz brakes before, so it's the first time for me and maybe a first time for you. What I'm doing? There's another nut. There's a nut behind the bolt either side, so I need another spanner to hold the nut and undo the bolt at the same time. Okay.
Do you have to do the top one?
I'm hoping. Maybe I can just peel this out. So far. Okay, so to the top. We've got such short heads on them. And these 13 more bolts.
Yep.
Okay, so I've got the caliper off. I'm going to hang on to it at the moment, but these brake pads are pretty much like brand new. There is no meat basically taken off them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put the new ones on so I can say when it goes over the pits that they will see the new, and I'm going to keep these ones, put them in the box, and keep them for future. But that way I can put my hand on my heart and say there's new rotors, new pads, but these are like, they are new anyway. So let's do that. Okay, I got the brake pad sensor. I'm just going to put it in now. You've got to be really careful and fragile with these. And put it in, and it literally just slots in. I've just blown it with some air just to get it clean, and it literally just slots in like so. And that's it. Okay, so I've got to take the whole brake caliper assembly off so that we can get the rotor off. And the rotor is only held in by one torque screw, and I'll let you know what size it is in a second. Top one. That is that off.
Straight off.
Yep. New one.
Yeah, we just. Oh, that's very smooth.
It's very smooth motion. That is not correct.
What do you mean?
It's not correct. Okay. Disappointing moment. I put on the rotor here, went to just put this in place and realized that I can't get these to where they're supposed to be because these are not exactly the same. If you look down here, this is much deeper than what this is. So hence this rotor doesn't sit back where it actually is supposed to, for this to be where it's supposed to sit. So which means I've now got to put the old ones back on in the meantime and then see if the back ones are okay and see if these can be swapped out. But you know, I was really wanting to do it all, obviously all today. Anyway, all part of the learning curve. So back on the old ones, and I'm even going to put the old pads back in until I can get the new rotors. So let's do that. Oh my goodness.
What?
Broke that off. Look at me. Really? Here. Like that. No damage. Right, so I've put the rotor and the pads and everything back together on the front. We've checked the back rotor. It is definitely correct. So that's all good. I've had a look online. There is, out of all the stores, being like Repco, Autobarn, Super Cheap, no one has the without or the non-sport front disc brake in stock anywhere. So I will have to work out what to do and get other ones to put on. But in the meantime, we will do the backs, we'll clean the wheels, get them back on, and then try and get to the front end. So first things first, this uses two 7mm Allen bolts instead of 13mm bolts, which were like on the front calipers. So this here is just the cap, goes on, there's one at the top. There's a 7mm Allen bolt in there, that will undo these. That will then release the caliper. There's a sensor on here as well. So that, in actual fact, I think will come out first. It's probably the safest way because these sensors seem very sensitive. So I'm going to be as careful as I can and just take it out like that because these will break very easily. Let's get the 7mm in here. Lift hoist and have the car up in the air obviously would make this so much easier. Just to work on any car, it would make it easier. And out of my brand new tools, it doesn't have a 7mm Allen key, so that's something I'm gonna have to get. Okay, those are just sliding pins. They're now undone. We should be able to wiggle the caliper. Oh, hang on, no. There's a spring here holding that caliper onto this here, so we'll need to remove that. And then when that's off, that should then come off, assuming there isn't one on the back, which doesn't feel like there is. I wonder if that's going to be hard or easy to do. If the whole thing comes out. There you go, the whole thing comes out.
That was very easy.
Yep, well, let's just get that off. Yep. Beautiful. Now, I don't want to leave that hanging, but all I need to do is take these off out of there. This has a spring on the back of it, which goes inside the actual piston itself. I'll just get a quick wire brush on them and give them a clean.
Well, that was very dusty. Still is.
Yeah, we don't want to break this in. So just going to push the piston back, and you can see it going back in. And that is all the way back. So we've got the 18mm bolts that hold the caliper assembly on. That's on. This is to take it off. So, a knock-on is what makes the difference. Got them loose, finally. Oh, that's the park brake. The park brake is a set of shoes. The hole. Happy days. The one with the spring that goes into the actual piston itself is the one that has the sensor hole. So, very easy to work out where that goes. That goes there. That goes there. In fact, that too just slides in that way. That just slides in. There. Back. These line up. Like so. Which goes there. And there. Like that.
That's it.
Well, I'll just put the back in, remember? With the. And then we're going to put the sensor back in. And then we're just going to wind these in. Lastly, the two caps. And that is that rotor done. Now we can go to the other side and do that.
Wait.
Oh, don't forget the sensor. Well, that goes in there, that lines up there. And yep, like that. And that goes like that. that is that in and done. So much easier the second time around. There's no sensor on this side. No. These pads are still in great shape. We'll keep those to the side. Push the piston back. Down the bottom. It is late in the afternoon. Had to do a couple of things outside, which has absolutely exhausted me. But we got the rear brake rotors on. We've put the wheels back on after spending quite a bit of time cleaning the backs of them out, as you've seen. Now it's time to see if I can get both the headlights in. So obviously we need to put this one in first, using the other one as a guide. I've got a new hollow screw, which is for this back section here, because the old one is here somewhere. It came out, so I'm kind of going to use the measurements of these distances to see if that's going to give us a close guide to where they should be initially. The top part of the old headlight is still in here, so I've got the bolt, and the other spacer and bolt is here. So we've got everything. Now it's just transferring it across and putting in the new headlight. We've got the first screw in. This has just come off of the old bracket for the old headlight. The adjustment screw for the actual headlight on the new one is different to the old one. As you can see, this is a lot taller. I'm going to take this out and put it in here because that's what was in there originally, and this is different. And the bolt is obviously very long. headlight seal for the new headlight, because this one was completely gone. Got it from AliExpress. So now the headlight's just lightly bolted in place. Let's see if this actually fits and is the right one. Having absolutely no idea how it goes. Might have to take, I don't want to take this off yet, but I might have to. Ooh. Try and leave it on the front, and we'll just take this edge off so it's pointing this way, and leave the actual, oh, I thought that was a crack. I panicked for a second. Just leave that like that. Right, now, how does this go? Oh, there's that line. That lines up with that. Oh, okay, have a look at this. This little tab there lines up with that on top here. Come around, that one lines up with that one. Oh, that goes under there, while that goes on top of there. That's supposed to. That. Ah, look at that. It snaps into place. This is slightly too big here. Oh, I just need to move that clip along. See if I can move the clip along the tiniest bit. Yeah, look at that. Oh, listen to that. That's a great sound when it works. Get this pulled through here. Oh, yes. Ooh. That's sitting on that. That's through there. That's through there. Come around here, Jeff. One more just here. Oh. Oh. On before. Ah, bang, clip. That is a great success. Leave that on to protect the headlight. That is clipped on like it should. Woo! That clipped on. Took a little bit of work. One of the holes for the guides was actually blocked up, so I've just cleared it and it went on. So I think we actually need the fender on to be able to shape it around here. But the thing is, and I've never done this before. I've never ever done this before. I've put headlights into an old Holden, but that's it. That's just way easier than these things here. So having to line the bonnet up. In fact, let's just bring the bonnet down and have a look.
You okay? So obviously that's got a lot of adjustment. Doesn't even feel like it's got a lot of adjustment. So that can come there, okay, that works. But not here. Starting to look like a car. Okay, so the fender, because this has got to be way under here. It's Friday night, I'm in the workshop. I've got an opportunity to get in here. Lachlan's been using it pretty much every night during the week, doing something to his car. And I just thought I would take the opportunity to have a look at this. You might remember from when we were pulling it apart, I did point out the fact that this corner here is broken off. So I'm literally just going to super glue it and use a hot staple gun that I bought from, guess where, AliExpress, and see if I can just fix it up. And there's one other spot on the headlight too from the original headlight that just needs a tiny bit of super glue as well. So let's do that. And once they're all melted in like that, it's just a simple case of just coming along and taking off the bits. And that is it. Now, because this is not going to be exposed, I don't need to file them down, but if I do need to, once I put it on, if I find that it's sticking up, then I'll simply just get a grinder and just take those off. Back in the workshop, and we're going to continue on with the C200. We're going to get the brake rotors changed on the front because I do have another set, the correct set. And while we're talking about the brake rotors, let's tell you why there is this shallower version. This is for a braking system that has a sports braking system on it. This one here is the standard. So without the sports braking is this, and with the sports braking system is the shallower dish in the rotors. So with that said, the rotors are going to go on the front, then we're going to get the other headlights put in, and then we're going to get the bumper on, and it's going to start looking pretty much complete. At that point, that's probably going to take most of the day because getting the lines and the gaps correct will probably take quite some time. So let's get on with that. Both brake rotors are on, pads are changed, wheels are on. So now we'll get on to changing the headlights and then get the bumper on, and it's pretty much going to look like a complete car. And then we'll work out what we're going to do after that. headlights off. So we've got to swap the headlight seal off of the other one. I'm going to take it off of there, put it on here. Headlight seal is now on the headlight and is all good. The only thing I'm going to change over from the original one to the new one is this adjustment screw. So I'm going to put that on because the screw is actually really tall and it needs that anyway. So just do that now. Okay, I've connected the battery. Both headlights are in. They're both plugged in. Let's see if they work. Right. You ready, Bubba?
Yep.
I haven't got the key in, so I'm not sure if it's going to come on. Is it on?
Nah.
Hang on. You ready?
Look at this.
Lights on?
Well, the bottom strip is.
So that's the day running lights. Both of them? Well, that's cool.
Both work.
Yeah?
Yep.
What about this? Both sides?
Yep.
Don't move the phone around.
Yep.
Yeah?
It's going strip.
Yeah,
Strip.
don't move your hand in the way.
Yep.
Right, is... Okay, it's just these curved ones are not on. Did they come on all at all?
Nah.
Even when they had... I've got to find out why. We can now work on putting the bumper on. The lines are pretty good. Especially get the bumper on, that's when it'll really define how good the lines are and where they should be. I've got this headlight out much better than I have this one, so still adjustment required, but we'll get the bumper on, and we'll go from there. We've got the bumper out. There were a couple of clips that weren't in from the reinforcement section to the actual bumper. I've clipped those in. The daylight running light in the donut bumper. The actual clip that holds the wire for the daylight running light was broken, so I've swapping it out for the original one. Giving it a clean up. Let's shove it in here. It goes in this way. Just like that. In. Let's get it onto the car. Before we put on the bumper though, we've got to change out the new bracket. So this is actually the model correct one that is suited to this particular VIN, hence the same. But like I said before, the one that came with the donor headlights, that bracket, bumper bracket, is definitely a way better design. So I've actually got one of those on order, so when it does come in, this will get changed out
for that. Look at that already. Well, it's taken several hours to just keep mucking around with all the lines, but it does look right. I think I need to go and find a similar model, be it a 200, 220, 250 or whatever, just to go and actually check how far the headlights actually stick out from the bonnet and so forth, and look at the lines on that. But it looks pretty good, so take a look at this. That wraps up this episode on the C200. It is certainly coming along very nicely, getting all that bit closer to getting it painted and, well, then registered. So there's still a few things that are going to be done internally, like the seat. I'm going to be taking that out in the next episode, looking at how that can be repaired and a few other things on the inside. And in the meantime, I do need to get the third-party inspection organised, which means I'm going to have to get the windscreen changed. So that needs to get organised as well. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And please share the videos out there with your friends and family. And just, well, with anyone, in fact. I don't care who it is. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.